All right. Looks like we are set here. Just double checking on my end. Yep, good to go. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is November 15th, 2022. Happy Tuesday, and as we kind of settle in for today, I figured we'd kind of round out some of yesterday's discussion, talk about what's in focus for both today and probably the rest of the earnings cycle. We do have a lot of retailers reporting this week. You want to be thinking stocks like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, TJ Maxx, and any sort of box retailer should be either reporting or possibly even moving in a more sentiment-based focus as things start to get released. So I wanted to start off just by looking at the kind of market breadth at this point in time and whether this rally does have clarity in regards to some of its risk levels, along with the participation throughout sectors that are leading to the upside. One way to get a little bit of sense of breadth, it's not necessarily the best indicator, but if you're looking for how total participation looks inside the S&P, you can often use these equal weighted sector ETF products, or you can use one that actually looks at the entire S&P 500. The RSP is the one that we've been most often using to get a sense of market breadth. So I do have a couple of levels marked on this ETF more from a technical sense, and these are kind of zones of pretty high interest. I would argue that this one tends to be pretty clear relative to some pullbacks and sell swings. It's also approximately where things started to kind of break down, and we saw a lot of poor relative performance across a lot of different sectors back in April and May. And this was kind of one of the steeper sell swings. It was also one of the most dangerous ones because we lost a lot of key participation in certain leading sectors. So as you can see, this particular ETF does have sort of an ebb and flow to it. It does have peaks and valleys. It tends to have these pretty exaggerated bounces off of lows. And because this ETF shows every single stock in the S&P 500 weighted to exactly 0.2%. So what it's showing is if the S&P were smoothed out to where an Apple and the smallest 500 company in the S&P, if they were equally weighted, what sort of performance are we getting? And that can give you a sense of market breadth. What you'll notice here is that because this ETF is running into this zone of quote unquote resistance, I would argue that this is a range that has, for the most part, transisted low to high. Like most ranges, not everything has to stop on a dime, but you get a sense of risk relative to previous range plays. And you also get a sense of a risk profile relative to something like a volume profile, where often as you participate between a high and a low, you're going to see markets tend to pull back into those value regions, along with reassessing whether they want to continue in the direction of whatever trend has formed inside the range. most range plays are often facilitated by trusting the range, essentially looking to buy low inside of that support zone, looking to sell high inside of the resistance zone, and ultimately understanding that eventually this range will sort of breach. But until then, your edge lies in playing the sort of bi-directional movement. Couple of notes here. We are seeing elevated volume on our rally. So this is facilitated by a little bit of a VPA kind of confirmation. This does have a stronger participation level than we've seen historically, when we were essentially making our June lows, very important price inflection for the CTF and for the S&P. The rally that followed was powerful, but it was also not heavily supported. The market breadth at the time was a little bit poor, and what we were mostly seeing is sort of a concentrated recovery in a lot of the heavier market cap weighted stocks like Apple, to some degree, some of the technology names at the time. But as far as overall breadth and just the general support of the rest of the market, it really wasn't there. And there's a massive divergence in that once we saw things like the narrative shift back into a bearish posture, with things like whether or not the Fed was going to pause or pivot their rate hike cycle. So remember, in the face of some of these rallies, it's oftentimes counterintuitive why a market may be doing what it's doing. But when you start to just kind of piece together what's supporting the rally that's facing you, you can often see a little bit of a mixed bag of either recovery from stocks that have been heavily beaten down, along with the general relative strength that we continue to experience in certain sectors. That combination, especially during a period of time, will keep you, for the most part, on the right side of the market as it continues to push in a general trend. But this ETF, for example, can give you an idea of the risk level. And what you'll notice here is, arguably, this is a relatively risky area to be initiating new bullish positions without our pullback. We don't really know exactly what a pullback from these levels could ascertain. I would argue that as we kind of shift into reviewing the S&P more on a granular sense, we have hit that, all-important 400 psychological price. We saw lots of that occurring on Friday, and the S&P ETF just took an extra day to do so. But in this overextension area doesn't necessarily mean that the market has to pull back. It's that the risk is starting to elevate, especially as a bull looking for new positional risk or to sort of engage in this rally to any degree, especially if you've missed out on the recovery itself. So a couple of things that are kind of keeping me watching for those opportunities are things like short-term pullbacks. Yesterday felt a little dramatic into the close, but ultimately we really haven't lost even the kind of strongest hourly trends. We're staying pretty elevated, and we're actually pushing back into that 400 level as we approach the PPI data report in about 20 minutes. So for things like pullbacks, some tools that we can use are obviously our trend line assessment. We know that we had some relative edge historically when we were looking at hourly pullbacks along this S&P channel. And that, of course, was breached prior to CPI. So we just avoided kind of adding additional risk until we got clarity. We're also looking at some potential volume profile assessment of the large um, I'll call it accumulation range at this point because we are trading a bit higher. And the fact that this area of risk was quite compact. You can tell how much time the S&P had spent transacting in this zone, and this whole region of open interest and just general participation became a focus area. Not only initially when we were trading it back and forth, we were seeing, you know, that volatility box of multiple sessions of 10 plus S&P rallies and drops. But additionally, the actual CPI low, which that was our previous CPI low, that has marked our relative bottom for the time being. So just understand that, you know, these techniques are not necessarily the easiest to ascertain in the moment, but you can start to tell that there is participation going on at these levels. And whenever these things start to release, especially in the face of catalyst, we often want to take advantage of it, even if it is going to be just another trade or just another target to reach. So for the time being, I'm looking at this area, and I'm also understanding that PPI can kind of disrupt our price chart a little bit. Some notable pullback zones that I'd want to be kind of in focus on is certainly this small volume node right here. This is about S&P 386 to 388. You'll note where this was kind of established along with the reaction that followed therewith after. That was the 390 highs along with the 382 balance range that was established in September. These zones are still important in my opinion, and even though we are trading higher from them, remember that they often are supportive on new pullbacks. So if the market were to sort of slam into that 390 print, along with some of the lower bounds of the the September balance range lows, this region here, then I would look for, you know, a little bit of covering if I were playing short, along with actually playing reactionary longs, given the steepness of the drop. Usually, you know, I'm assuming PPI could take the S&P down another 5 or 10 points very quickly. So yeah, that's a little bit of kind of idea for today. It's also a note that just because we're up here doesn't mean we can't give a lot back. For now, I think a lot of the CPI is short covering. There is market breadth behind it, but it's keeping the picture a little bit more unclear as to whether bulls are really stepping in and supporting this rally, or are we simply seeing the opposite effect of you know, participants being wrong in the face of catalyst. So one thing that I really want to see is the first hourly pullback, something that really breaks trend. I want to see it get bought. I do want to see bulls step up to the plate here and support some of this CPI rally. You know, the argument being that we really haven't pulled back. Most of our intraday plays have been leading to new spike highs, but we also aren't really structured well for continuation. You know, things are diverging short term, and this upper bound area could easily crack. That would facilitate sort of our initial daily pullback, our consolidation, and the idea of a higher low in the face of this rally. So wanting to see it, and obviously the market offering that opportunity, are two different things. If we sell, it's still a great short play into that initial pullback because you have a lot of room to kind of expect the pullback to be bought. But if we don't, remember this rally does have some breadth behind it, and a lot of stocks are elevated, yet staying elevated. You know, they haven't really shown a sign of weakness yet or any reason to think that they're going to pull back out of the blue. So just remember that for some of your bias and trading in this market. Especially, I think a lot of traders have trouble transitioning whenever markets change. I know I do as well. Whenever there is a counter move, especially, traders are often a little bit short-minded in what they traded recently. They remember some of the steep declines and they continue to kind of trade short biased, even though the market is grinding higher against them or just not providing those steep sell swings like we saw previously. So it's amazing how our bias kind of keeps with us, even on the intraday time frame, when the market is not agreeing with that bias, especially by price, which is unfortunately one of the few ways that we can trade unless you're an options trader. So yeah, I would kind of keep that in mind. We'll quickly look at earnings. Here I'm gonna just probably cover the main two that are reporting today. And then I'll talk briefly about PPI, but I think that'll be pretty much the summation of it all. What you'll notice here, we have two stocks in focus this morning, Walmart and the Home Depot. Remember, once again, Walmart is a consumer staple stock, does carry fairly significant market cap. You want to be thinking, how impactful is this stock to the SPY or the NASDAQ, whichever index it belongs to, and that's true for all indices, along with what sort of sentiment does it carry, because it's not just Walmart. It might be Target or another box retailer that moves initially, and both of those can be intraday or swing trades. Home Depot is a little bit different. It's a consumer discretionary stock. So XLP for Walmart, XLY for Home Depot. Still a pretty heavy hitter, sitting at about 300 billion market cap. You kind of compare that to tomorrow. We do have stocks like NVIDIA reporting in the aftermarket, but keep in mind, NVIDIA used to be trading at or near $1 trillion market cap. It's obviously been knocked down quite a few pegs. And in the face of this counter move that NVIDIA is experiencing now, it certainly gained back some of that position, but it's no longer the same stock that it used to be. So it shows that NVIDIA is important. It's a big, fast mover, and it often is quite volatile. But Walmart is just as important, especially from market cap perspective. You're going to get less volatility just relative to the price, but it's still going to move markets. And that's what's kind of the categorical understanding here. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because Lowe's trade sentiment based, but the impact to the S&P is going to be much less because it's a smaller company. So anyway, just looking at those real quick. Walmart, pretty bullish this morning. We're seeing a positive reaction to its earnings. I have not dug into them, but it looks like they beat on EPS. I imagine they're saying some decent aspects into hopefully their earnings call comes out and kind of keeps it high. What was the market pricing? I would say from yesterday's trade, it looks like they closed it at about a $7.50 to $8 expected move. You could obviously verify that a bit by looking at the 138, about $8, and 139 straddles. So both of them priced at about $8. Looking at the move this morning, appears that we're hitting about $10. So a little bit of a small breach here. That could easily fade off a little bit, but in the face of a more positive reaction, we assume, let's say it's going to drift a bit higher. One of the easiest targets to kind of identify is 150. So whether or not Walmart kind of stays bullish, along with the earnings call, which I believe is coming up in just a bit, and playing towards the option markets prices. 150 stands out. 145 as well is quite elevated, but that was more in line with the expected move. You know, from a 138 close, you're thinking about $7 to $8, along with that psychological just $5 price level. So yeah, I would definitely use those prices if you're scalping. If you want to play like a $5 range, that might form. 145 to 150 would be ideal, along with the assumption that the earnings call will keep the stock elevated, and we might actually rally to 150 to finish off the day. Technically, is there any issue with that? And what I find so interesting about this is there's a massive sentiment change in Walmart 2 earnings cycles ago. We spent pretty much 6 months trading in this kind of depressing box right here, and now we are back at that price. So quite an interesting story for Walmart. A lot of inventory accumulation and just allocation for a demand cycle that wasn't quite there, along with the upcoming holiday season. A lot of these retailers are expecting to be, trying to relinquish as much of that inventory as possible at potentially discounted prices. And whether or not the market thinks that that's going to be a bullish aspect because they are potentially going to sell more, or are they going to start to lose on that profitability because of the discounts? So very interesting story for box retailers. Walmart especially is kind of the leader in that space. So Home Depot, let's take a look at this one. Looks like we closed at about 307. So on yesterday's trade, you'd probably be looking at a 307.50 straddle, priced at about $18 to $19. You could even look at maybe a 305 and a 310 just to kind of get a sense of that relative price, but it looks like about 1850 is pretty spot on. That also agrees with the platform's expected move. Is Home Depot moving $18? I think high to low, it did have some of that reactionary move. You kind of look at the spike candle here at about 315, and then you look at the low end at about 298. That's $17 of movement. It's not necessarily from the close price. So the argument here is that this one probably didn't quite achieve some of those ranges. This one appears to be stuck within its expected move. And just because we're trading at 300, I think this one's going to be a little tricky. If you are looking to trade it today, just understand that when you're trading at these psychological prices, it's much harder to get a directional bias because usually markets will try to move away and then immediately snap back. We talk about some stocks that have this characteristic. Apple has the 150. We're looking maybe at Tesla having it at 200. It's these big psychological prices, and part of the reason the market reacts to them and moves to them is because a lot of traders, a lot of risk allocates itself there. It's just the human aspect of trading, along with the institutional participation at those prices. Not to say that this option market is extremely elevated at 300, but I would argue that until a trend forms, and especially if it can move away from this level, you might be better off actually playing it back to 300 multiple times throughout the session, depending on what the price action risk looks like. So this one might be a little tricky, might be more of a range. I would once again expect that earnings call to kind of tell us a little bit more information. Okay, so as I kind of round out discussions here, just remember we do have PPI coming up in approximately 2 minutes. And similar to CPI, this is a market moving event. So we do see, I have the wrong date clicked. We do have our kind of market numbers listed in trading terminal, month over month and year over year estimates, along with the previous readings. The market is expecting these to come off a little bit, although the month over month is remaining the same. And then you can see core PPI. It's similar to CPI X food and energy, with similar estimates to the previous readings. So we saw CPI come in a little light. Market liked that. If PPI kind of agrees with it, I think we could potentially remain elevated for a little bit. But profit taking being what it is, bulls will sell into strength and allow for the market to pull back, offering new bulls the opportunity to get better prices. And then, of course, the bears are going to try and take advantage of any drawdown that the market experiences from elevated levels. I would certainly play towards that thesis today. The S&P has those key ranges and sort of your key prices. 390 is definitely a price in focus. 395 is where we close, but we've already kind of pushed to 400. If we continue to push higher, I'd just be looking at that trend line. The S&P has a very clear sort of technical trend line. And I mean, if we run into it, that kind of concludes this counter rally for the time being, at which point we'll probably have to look into our toolbox for other ways to take advantage of potentially a new bull market. Especially into that trend line, we will be seeing about a 20% recovery from the lows. So just understand the magnitude of this move along with the recovery percentage as well. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. PPI is about to come out, so get ready. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys are having had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, brother. I'm doing all right. I'm sorry you're a little bit under the weather and doing this, but I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
No, no problem at all, man. No problem at all. Show must go on. So, guys, thank you. Let's give Jared a big thumbs up for engineering the markets this morning. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling like crap. So the show today might, be a little short depending how I get
Yeah.
through it. And apologies for being a little bit slow today. Even this morning, I'm clicking on the wrong things and I'm forgetting to connect this, connect that. Just what happens when you're not 100%. Um, I was hearing Jerry. I know we got CPI. I'm sorry, not
PPI.
CPI. PPI numbers coming out today. So let's take a look at that, Norm. See what's going on there.
Yeah, we just had PPI drop, came in lighter than expected. On both the core and the headline number, so that spiked things once again, seeing a similar to reaction to what we had when we got CPI come out last week. And so hoping, well, not hoping anything. I'm wondering, I guess I should say, if we have the same kind of day that we had last week where it takes off and it just keeps going, or if it turns around. We've had a massive move in the last several days combined. So for the last week, I would say, in a lot of these tickers. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. SPY has been pretty nice, I gotta say. Right now reacting really nicely to these numbers. So we'll see how that ends up. Um, So let's get to our gappers list, guys. Looking at it this morning, we already had quite a bit in the green, right? Before this number came out. Now this list is going to become just massive. We are definitely not going to get through all of these, but we will look at our top five or so that are in the double digits, and then we'll look at our usual suspects as usual. Those are going to be in play today, right? So we'll be taking a look at that. Let's head over to the gappers list. We're not going to go over the stuff from yesterday, guys. We're just going to go right to our gappers list today. So I'm going to control A, control X, and let's see what we got going on here. So actually this cover was in the red. TWST is down 18.6 at the moment, 538,000 shares traded. So I mean, it's very light volume for the most part. Today they're trading what, a quarter of what they normally trade. So it just kind of tells you what kind of ticker this is. Any news on this, Norm, or is this garbage? What we got?
Yeah, they had a short seller describe them as a cash burning inferno and synthetic biology swindle.
Cash
So they're getting hit
burning.
by a short seller. Watch out on that,
Yeah.
guys. A lot of time, they have a vested interest. They've, of course, already taken a short. Now they're trying to bash the company in order to profit from it. Sometimes it works out for them, sometimes it doesn't. So just
Yeah.
be careful on that.
Extra cautious with this one. Today you don't need to watch something like this, right? You can watch other things that are gonna be hopefully in a better situation. Rum, which is not alcohol, by the way, which probably can fix me up. This is actually Rumble, and they are down today 3% right now,
Good
152
earnings last
thousand.
night.
Yeah, pre-market looks active. I haven't traded these guys, so I'm not sure how they trade. Normally, when they're in play, something else is trading a lot better.
I have
Um,
not either, but I will say 155,000 shares traded after an earnings release and with the news that we've
mhm.
had this morning isn't very impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of weak actually. You're absolutely right. So, and again, today's is already setting up to be one of those days, guys, where you can really watch some of your usual suspects. But let's check some of these top gappers here that are in the double digits, and we'll see what's happening here. AZTA Aztec. This is up 33%, but this is a pretty poor pre-market activity based on just the volume alone, right? 101,000 shares traded.
Some
Uh,
medical device company, they had
yeah,
earnings last night. Yeah, it's not the greatest.
yeah, this doesn't look good. So we'll skip on this one. SE, well, C limited. We know this. It's been on our gap list quite a bit. Without looking at the daily, I mean, this pre-market action looks very, very active today. So if there's any day they might look good, might actually be today. And their stuff started going off early on around
Yeah, they had
6:30.
earnings.
Ah, that makes sense, right? So it's not a CPI move as of yet. CPI can help. I mean, I keep saying CPI. Sorry, guys. Now all their PPI,
Yes.
um, can help this a little more. But I don't know. What do you think about this one, Norm? What's your thoughts on this ticker?
Usually it's not my favorite, but with earnings, with this volume, it could be good. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'll put it as a possible. I agree. The
It's not
volume looks
doing
good.
much right now. It's just
Yeah,
sitting there. So,
we'll
but
have
who
to see
knows?
at
We'll
the
see.
market open how that's being treated. Heading over to okay, the Chinese tickers are coming in now. We have Billy, we have TSM, Baba, not TSM, actually, that's a different one. Billy, Baba, JD, they're all here. So let's take a look at a couple. Um, Billy, you know what? Billy used to be great, but it hasn't been in a while. So today they're up a massive 15%, which is nice. Big jump here. They have not been above 1350 in a while, so that is good there. I'm gonna look at, so if you like Billy, today could be a day to watch that one. We have Baba, which also up 11.4, which can trade very well also. So for me, guys, it'll be Baba and Neo. I mean, I won't be trading today, but if I were, these two would be on deck. Looking at Neo, Neo's pre-market action not great. Again, just got the gap up and just moving sideways. Norm, these were up
These
before
Chinese
PPI.
tickers have been beaten. Well, yeah, they're not
Yeah.
affected by that really. The China's just been beaten down recently, and they've had a little bit of positive data coming out recently, including some retail sales stuff and so forth. I will say you can't really. I don't trust the numbers that come out of China's
Hmm.
statistics bureaus as far as this stuff. So,
Yeah.
yes, I mean they're going to trade based on that, but and does it affect us on a day trading kind of basis? Not really.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, we'll see
just
how they do. Again, Neo and Baba have both had some pretty good intraday action. We saw Baba was it last week also trade very well. Not sure what it did yesterday. Actually, I know exactly what it did yesterday because I traded it yesterday and I got stopped out. It was actually pretty crappy. If you see here, very very choppy. Just did nothing. I got stopped out right here and went sideways for the entire day. Um, let's take a look. All right, so TSM is up pretty nice this morning, 12%. Once in a while, this thing does very well. This is a very nice gap up for them. So
Warren Buffett's taking a big stake in them.
that is really good news for them. So yeah, guys, this will be in play today. I like that catalyst because he tends to move things. Um,
Yeah, Berkshire's taking $4.1 billion stake. So
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, guys, up 12%. Great, great volume today. That's a big, nice pop there. Heading down, we have Carvana up 10%. Pre-market pretty light right now as far as movement. So I don't like what I'm seeing here. And again, another stock. It's not under $10, but it's pretty close to one of these lower price stocks that I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, I'm sure we'll find something better to trade today.
they got a downgrade this morning. Their short interest is very high. Keep an eye on that. So
Yeah, coming in at 40 percent, as you can see there. So yeah, careful with that. Um, we got Becky here. Becky is up 9.3. Sold off yesterday, and just look at the shocker today. We're up 9.3. So this is kind of confusing some people there for sure. Very light volume. Not a huge fan of this one, so I'm gonna head right down to the next one. XBev. Volume, but again, just like all these Chinese tickers with some positive news gapping up, really not much doing in the pre-market. And just look at the action recently, just not a lot going on. Neo looks very similar, a little bit better. But today you might want to wait for the market open on these and let them pick a direction, guys, on these Chinese tickers, right? They Baba didn't do that yesterday. I don't know what Neo did yesterday. Let's take a quick look here. Actually, it was a good sell-off. I should have shorted this one instead of Baba. Not really. It's okay. But wait for them to pick a direction. And if they don't, just if you get stopped out once or twice, like I did yesterday, just don't trade it. Don't trade it. They have their good and bad days, but today you don't know just yet of that pre-market activity we're seeing. Well, let me call out some names. I know Walmart. We'll just skip through some of these. Walmart had earnings this morning, so they are up 7.6. That's pretty good. 1.5 million.
they
Um,
did. If you remember, these things got hammered 2 quarters ago, just
yeah,
destroyed Walmart because they
yes.
got on the wrong side of inventory issues with the COVID stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and it really showed some internal management problems because of it. But they've recovered nicely from that and filled that gap this morning.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see here that what Noah was talking about back in May, it just got crushed, sold off for 2 days there, pretty aggressive. Looking good this morning, guys. Definitely in play. Walmart with these type of numbers can trade well, so definitely look out for that one. Heading down, I'm just gonna skip through some of these. Let's see, more Chinese stickers here, by the way. I mean, they're all here. The whole gang is here. Lee, Futu, Baidu. PDD, remind me, is that Chinese? I believe as
Yes.
well. Yeah, so they're all here. Pick your favorites out of this one. Mad Max is asking why dark. I'm actually sitting with my lights off, yeah, because it's just I'm not feeling well today, so that's why you're not seeing my camera. Um, but yeah, man, it'll be a dark day today. Um, Roblox, I know had some decent movement over the last couple of days. It's not doing a whole lot today. It needs a little more activity there. It is up 5.5, but we need more out of this one. Volume or pre-market action. It's just not there right now. Interested in what Bitcoin and coin is doing after all the everything is kind of unfolding here with FTX. Norman, do you have any? Have you looked at any of that stuff and any more news on this
I
issue?
mean, Bitcoin's still down below 17,000. I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop
Mm-hmm,
as
mm-hmm.
far as that goes. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't follow it too closely. I don't
Yeah,
hold Bitcoin, um, though, or
yeah.
any crypto.
I just got crypto last week, like $100, nothing crazy. Just wanted to set up Coinbase just to kind of see what it's about. Not that I'm gonna do anything serious with it. But there's this website where you need to pay with Bitcoin. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Not even PayPal. So I set it up. It's like, what a time to set
Sounds
that up.
shady.
Yeah, sounds shady. Uh, but yeah, guys. So just keep an eye out for that. What else we have? So Mara on here. These guys are not doing a whole lot right now. Not even great volume yet compared to what we've seen out of these guys. And the list goes on and on and on. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to throw some names out here. I see Meta and Apple here. What did Meta do yesterday? I had it on the list, but it didn't look. Meta 751. They got good volume today.
Yeah, they really moved yesterday. I think a lot of this move today is just on the PPI that came out. I don't think it's much individual.
Yeah,
Amazon,
yeah.
of course, middle of the day yesterday announced there are some layoffs. But they have 1.6 million employees worldwide. They're laying off, I think, 10 or 11,000. So it's a
That's
drop in the
nothing.
bucket.
That's nothing compared to what those guys are doing. So all right, cool. Let's stop here. Norm, anything you like on
I
this
mean,
day?
just the normal suspects that have been trading well recently: the AMDs, Nvidias, Metas, Teslas, Amazon. That's kind of what I'm watching right now.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're essentially out of earnings season. We've got some earnings decent this week coming in, but nothing like the rate at which we had, and I really like these. So
Right. Not like the big boys that we had a few weeks back. Nvidia is when does Nvidia report? They report already? Might be
tomorrow, I
confusing
think
it.
tomorrow or
Is it
Thursday.
tomorrow? Okay, I think they're coming up. So we'll see when this is this right here.
Tomorrow.
November this month. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at coin here. Excuse me. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow Nvidia will definitely be in play after hours. All right, we added a few of our usual suspects here. We'll fine tune this list in a little bit. What do you guys like on your end? Let's look at both chats here and see what you guys like. Colton on a YouTube. We do have Amazon on our. I have it on my secondary here, but this can replace any of these Neo TSM Baba very easily. It's got great volume today, and actually they're moving nicely right now. Might want to close this gap today, depending how things go. Um, long some Nvidia, Nvidia, and I trade Nvidia is long some Nvidia, so nice. What
Surprising.
else? SQ. SQ. I don't like SQ anymore. I really don't. I don't think it trades well. Usually when you're getting these type of moves like you saw yesterday, you're seeing other things that are trading a lot better. So I'm not a big fan of block here at the moment. Andy is giving us QH. Oh no. Low flow. Is it a low flow ticker? It is 1 million shares flow. All right, so low flow, you gotta look at it a little bit different, right? You gotta look at volume and the pop. Um, we'll put in our risky pile. Definitely a low flow of the day.
Very
Getting
low
going here.
float. No, guys.
Yeah.
Andrew can one keystroke by the entire float.
And make it move wildly. So again, if guys, if you're, I always say, if you're new, even if you're experienced and this is just not where you usually hang out at, you don't want to be in this neighborhood. You just don't. You'll give back weeks, months of earnings easily in profit. So just don't do it, man. Stick with the stuff that's been working. I know it looks great to be up 55%. It'll be nice to catch some of that, right? But it's just way too risky. Way too risky. Um, Netflix worked pretty well yesterday. What is Netflix up to? Netflix, nice couple of days here, getting back to
Yeah, it
300.
has.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Um, Today we're up slightly. You're not gonna get a whole lot of Netflix pre-market, but yeah, this could be a good one. I like the daily on this. The way how's the gap? The gap. Ah, man, we actually have moved pretty. Look at the big picture here. Netflix has moved pretty well, trying to get back towards that time where we gapped down at 332. So yeah, Netflix could be interesting. I'm gonna put them as a possible here this morning. AMD looking solid, says the Prince Trader. So let's take a look at AMD. Um, I mean, overall market stuff, right? Right now, I mean, 1.6 million shares. That's quite a bit. But you got Apple with some good shares as well. You got Walmart with some very nice shares, and these Chinese tickers too, the 2.5. I mean, their shares this morning. Amazon 3.6. A lot of volume being moved around today. Is the bottom in, Norm? What are we doing here? Is the bottom in here? I mean, we
Moment.
got a pretty nice move. I know you don't know, but I'm still gonna ask you.
Moment. Be shocked to test or break lower at some point, but for the moment,
Yeah,
it's there.
it's getting a nice move here. Let's see. Um, all right, that covers quite a bit here, guys. Anything else we're missing? XLE, that's an ETF, but as Norm, what's your thoughts on XLE?
I don't really trade it.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, overall macro view on energy currently is that this winter is going to be terrifying with what's happening with energy, everything from OPEC, war in Ukraine, Russia. If there's a cold winter in Europe, it's going to be hell. So
Yeah, yeah. Carlos, I've been saying the bottom
it's
isn't
what
in.
Putin's waiting on. So I'm not even looking
Yeah,
at the technicals and the double top. I want to,
is that
that's
this?
my
It's more
concern.
news driven. This is like
Yeah,
kind of
that makes me
yeah,
concerned about looking at a technical pattern.
and anything can happen out of that. Nvidia says Carlos, the bottom has been in.
ATD weathermen are always right.
Don't make me laugh, man. Uh, um, so Nvidia has been calling the bottom for a couple of weeks, and this makes them, I'm sure, with the move we've been getting, and that's what happens, right? When we're all comfortable and least expected, boom, there it comes. So who knows, man? But time we'll find out. Um, all right, guys. We again, usual this type of day, usual suspects. We got a pretty good list already. There's tons of volume in this market today, so it's setting up to be a pretty nice morning so far. We just have to see how things open up. Are they going to be choppy? Or are we going to get some good continuation? Um, let's head over to our community events and announcements. Just give me a second to pull this up. All right, here we go.
Excuse me, I started choking right when we started that. All right, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got Carlos with Onboarding and Technology. Be sure to check that out, especially if you're a newer trader. And then on Tuesdays, we have Strategy with Peter, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Strategy this week is with Peter. Can you scroll down a little bit, brother? Thank you. He's going to be talking about creating and maintaining a trading journal at 8 p.m. Next week, no webinar since it's Thanksgiving. We take that week off. But the following Tuesday, Andrew's going to be talking about it's like a 30,000 foot view into his trading, everything from his setup to his thought process, how he finds stocks and play, everything else. So check that out on the 29th. Wednesdays for psychology. Tomorrow, we've got a new speaker, Kim Ann Curtin, talking about the invisible threat to your trading account. And then the week after Thanksgiving, Randy Howell at 8, talking about staying disciplined when taking losses. Very, very important aspect of trading. Thursdays, we have mentorship with John at 11 and Thor at 8. TradingTerminal.com, where we are working hard to build your one-stop shop for all trading information needs. Call it the retail traders Bloomberg terminal. Is what we're aiming for. Go check out everything it's got to offer, including the simulator, which is there, or you can access us via stocktradingsimulator.com, free web-based replay simulator. All right, guys. Two things. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not been in the chat, use the promo code PreMarket24 when you sign up for the intro membership that's on the far left. That'll make it $24. It is 1 week. It is a one-time payment. It does not recur. So you can try that with no obligation. Come in, check out the chat room. You can go to that onboarding class that I mention every Monday night and get a feel for it. Then we also just launched our Black Friday sale. It's our biggest sale of the year, every year. This year we're offering 60% off the Elite annual membership, and you still get that one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed. So be sure to check that out.
All right, excellent, Norm. Thank you for that. Let's get to some levels, guys. We're having a onboarding class last night, and when I went to the website and saw that deal, I was like, "Wow, that is I think that's the one of the biggest discounts we have done, guys. So take advantage of that. It's pretty sweet." All right, let's see here. Our list: Baba. We have Baba. We have Neo. We have TSM. We have Walmart, Meta, Apple, and Nvidia today. So kind of our usual suspects are in here. We got Walmart, which has earnings, great volume today, and then we got a couple of Chinese tickers that are just moving with some heavy volume. Not a great pre-market activity. It's kind of like they gapped up and just went sideways here, but they're doing pretty good there. So let's get to some levels. Let's start with Baba this morning. We'll start here. Let's do highs and lows to last. The pre-market, we have 77.06, and then we have towards the top, we have 79.66. So that's your pre-market highs and lows there. Towards the bottom, guys, I know we gapped up, but we do have your highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. And midpoint, I think, yeah, it's a good area here, guys. It's 75.27, just in case we do drop down. Does not look like the case right now, but we know how great Baba can sell off and how aggressive it can be. It was horrible yesterday, but at the first half of the day, but doesn't mean today they cannot have a great day. They can have a great day. 81.80 towards the top, and then above here we do have 84.39. So some pretty good levels there. As far as Baba. Neo, my other favorite Chinese ticker to trade, is up 6.4. Again, just huge volume this morning, 2.4. Same thing here. And then you see this across the board on a lot of these Chinese tickers. Again, just gap up and just moving sideways here. This morning, high of our pre-market is going to be 12 on the dot there. Above that, you got a slight pop here towards 12.36. And then if you look at the next big level, it's going to be this 13, right? You got a nice area right over here of resistance, right? So that's going to be pretty good there. Towards the bottom, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. You can mark down the low of the pre-market. That's hanging out at 11. Sorry, guys, if I mute like that unexpectedly, I'm either coughing or clearing my throat. 11.50.58, right? So we'll mark that there. TSM, normally not one of a watch, but again, they got great news with some Warren Buffett getting into some of this action. 81.34. I like this here because we kind of hesitated here, then we finally broke out. So you want to mark that down. I know it's not the high of the pre-market. That's going to be created as it continues to push higher. We'll wait to see what that ends up to be. Towards the bottom, we're going to mark down 77.98. Actually 78 is your low of your pre-market, so we'll mark that there. And let's look to the left and see what we have here. we are going to mark down 84.08, and then above here we also have 87.30, 37. So again, very strong catalyst today. We're already up 12.5, good volume. This one is heavily in play this morning. Plus, if the PPI numbers continue to push the market higher, which they did the pop and now it's just kind of holding here. Let's see what's how this ends by the time we end this show. But if that pushes higher, that can also add some momentum to what this thing is doing already. Walmart finally breaking out of this area here where you're seeing just tons of we saw so tons of resistance. We're above that now. They had good earnings, and as Norm mentioned, this thing has been beat up quite a bit, right? When they got crushed on was it 2 quarters ago? They got crushed here on earnings with their inventory just being a huge issue. So at the moment, 149 is good. Let's see here to the left. Let's get some levels. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty highs and lows of the last two trading days. So you're set there. And then if we look in here, I am going to mark down 146.25 in area support and resistance across the board there. So above our pre-market high, we got a couple areas. The moment doesn't have the best daily, so the levels, can be a little funky at times. 152.22, and then another great area, a lot of support and resistance happening here at 155.16 as well. Let's head down to Meta. So Meta has got some decent volume as well, 2.7 this morning. And again, they've been climbing out of this the low of 87, right? If you guys remember 88, 87 in the last couple of days, last a week or two, actually 2 weeks, we've seen a nice push into the levels where they were trading at back in October. So they're trying to get there. Some levels towards the top, we're looking at 124.42, and we also have 132.34, and all the way up here 138. So some pretty good levels that we tested before as support and resistance. So definitely looking interesting there. Our high of our pre-market at the moment, pretty much doing whatever the SPY is doing right now, right? So they don't have their own catalyst at the moment, but I think this daily is interesting. Apple, Nvidia, all of these again just following the overall market and the move that it's making now. But Apple is going to get the volume. Nvidia is going to get the volume. They have earnings, Nvidia tomorrow as well, so that'll be interesting. High of the pre-market on Apple is 152.37, and we're gonna mark that there. Then we have 155.39, and all the way up here 157.51. So I think that's all you need on Apple, guys. If you look at your daily, your highs and lows, previous day close are doing a good job below the price action right now. So that's looking good. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Look at the run from Nvidia from the lows of 112 or lower. Did we hit 108? I mean, look at the run we had here. It's just incredible. So the last couple of days showing a lot of strength. We are getting to 170.38 is the high of the pre-market. And then above that, look at that level 2 on the daily. Above that, we do have a level over at 178. Very nice area of resistance there. And then obviously all the way up here at 190, right? That would be a stretch today, but that would be incredible if we're able to do a move like that. It's going to need some help, of course, from the overall market. 186.55, also a good area midpoint. Not a big level like these here. Like that's the major level, that 178. And of course, it's 190. But you do have a little action, some touches, a couple of days opening and closing there as well. I think they'll be good to go. All right, guys, that is our list. Stoyan says to take a look at CUEN for garbage tier list, man. I don't want to look at it because I don't want to laugh, but I would take your word for it. I would take your word for it. All right, guys, that's our list so far. Again, I think it's gonna be one of those days where you can pick anything that you're used to trading, and it's gonna do very well because it's the overall market. It's just a lot of volume being pushed around. Some key things to look at, though. I think TSM, I think Walmart. These things have their own catalyst this morning. They started moving on earnings. TSM is moving on Warren Buffett getting into this play here. So these have their own stuff going on. These are going to be some good ones that are not just following the overall market. The overall market is going to help them because if you notice, right, TSM had a nice pop here, went sideways for a bit. Data came out, PPI, and then you can see the pop you're getting here. So that's looking very nice. Same thing with Walmart, right? Earnings came out, nothing's happening. Earnings are out, and then you had the pop, and PPI number didn't really have an effect on it based on what I'm seeing here. But this is another to keep a close eye on as well. Then everything else really just kind of moving with the overall market. Those two are definitely my favorite for today. And I usually don't like TSM, but today they're looking pretty good with a very nice catalyst this morning. Um, all right, guys. Anything else we missed? We'll wait for our moderators to throw out their list here and see what they have on deck this morning. Um, and then we'll get rocking and rolling here. Some of our possibles is we have SE on deck. We have which by the way I think SE looks pre-market looks really good, guys. I think this one can be one to have on your main list today if you have space for it. I think this is looking very well. Great volume, great pre-market activity. Amazon's another one you don't want to forget about. I mean, we do have plenty up here. Maybe if you don't like the Chinese tickers like NEO, which is starting to push higher here towards that higher of the pre-market. Baba as well, trying did push up, sold off a little bit here, but NEO looking like it wants to break out here from 12. If you don't like these, you can move up an Amazon or an SE today. I think those look pretty interesting. Um, okay, what do we got going on here? Anything else, guys? Anything else that we might have missed? We got a couple of minutes.
JR is asking about scanners. If you want scanners, JR, click Trading Terminal up above or go to tradingterminal.com, click scanners on the left, and you'll have the scanners. Same scanners we had before.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Trading Terminal is such a great website. Take advantage of it. It's completely free, and again, I know I always say this. It's so clean. I love how clean this website is. You
It's
go to
getting
like
better and better.
yeah, and it gets better and better, right? If you go to CNBC, it's a great website, it's Bloomberg, whatever. It just have so much stuff. This is just like what us active traders need, right? Which is pretty nice. So
Click the scanner real quick. It's right
yeah,
there on the left in the middle.
yeah, here we go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
There's your scanners.
yeah. Uh, I like this too, guys. You sign in with Google. You don't have to put in your information with us. Just sign in with Google and you're in, and this will save some of your stuff on here. So it's pretty sweet. Um, yeah, so everything's on here. Gappers, gap down, turbo breakout, turbo breakdown are going to be in here. So if also notice this is yesterday's data. It sometimes does that. Scanners do that. When the market opens, it'll reset and it'll give you this morning's data. Obviously, you're not going to get that now because it won't make sense now. But these two are my favorite scanners: turbo breakout, turbo breakdown, and people are paying some pretty heavy dollars to get these type of scanners, guys. You're getting them here completely free, so take advantage. Uh, let's see. Let's go back over here. All right, let's see what's happening with the market. How's the reaction to PPI? So we got the pop, and we're just kind of selling down slightly, but let's see how this goes. Market's still up 1.7, and volume continues to pour in on this long gappers list this morning. Can we look at SoFi and INTC? Absolutely. Absolutely. We can definitely look at that. Let's see. INTC. Oh, no, not today. And
Got a
usually,
lot of good stuff.
yeah, and usually it's a no for most days unless they have earnings or news, right? So today they're definitely not nowhere near. They're not even in the ballpark of what everything else is that has volume and trading very well is doing. So that's my thing on it. And SoFi, again, just moving with the overall market. These guys do have volume. Had a big day. It was this last week Friday. They do have volume. Again, it's just if you compare this to everything else we have, I don't see anything great on it. But if you like trading SoFi, if you like stocks under $10, if you feel comfortable with that, this could be one you could look at, right? This it's gonna be a lot of places. Wait for the market open. Obviously, this is doing just whatever the overall market is doing. So, keep an eye on whatever the SPY is doing today. Andrew O on YouTube is saying AMC. What is AMC up to? AMC this morning, not doing a whole lot. Overall market stuff. Last couple of days have been good with the movie coming out. And I know Thor got this like at 5. He swung this trade based on the movie doing well. The release there.
It earnings too.
Oh, today? or
No. On the 8th. So they've been on
oh
the
yeah,
move
yeah,
and since then, and then they had that as well. So
yeah. So again, guys, doing so. I wonder if they do they time stuff like that. I wonder if they do that. Um,
AMC,
uh,
you don't know, these are the people that created a second share class named it Ape. So
how is that doing, by the way? I haven't looked at that since we they might need to do a reverse
$1
split very soon. Not doing all that well.
ain't good.
Uh, oh man. So yeah, so that there you have it. So yeah, AMC going just to answer your question, I think you have to kind of wait. You need some explosive stuff to happen here. I'm not seeing that right now. All right, I see Thor got his list in. We'll wait for a few more and then we'll call it a day, guys. Um, Norm, someone text me and they thought today was your birthday. Are they correct?
Yeah, brother.
Oh, my man. Happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, thank you, dude. I
I'm so
appreciate
glad
it.
I did this show. It's all worth it now. Happy
Thank you,
birthday,
man.
man. Hopefully you enjoy your special day today. So
Thanks,
let's give a
everybody.
big thumbs up to Norm and happy birthday messages coming in chat. Fast and furious. So love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you, guys.
Um, all
And
right,
thank you for
excellent.
coming in because you're sick. I know
Oh
you're not
no, man.
feeling well, and usually we have a backup. This is one of those weird days when nobody could. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think Peter is at the dentist having a procedure done, so probably not the best host for the pre-market
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yep. Agreed, agreed. And Peter does an amazing job of covering. And usually, I'm always, we never take off, right? Norm, you don't take off. You've done the show
Uh,
sick plenty of
really.
times. But when we feel sick, it's early in the morning. We start at 8:30, right? So it's like whoever we give notice to is going to be very last minute every time. It's not going to be a
Yeah,
heads
that's the
up,
problem.
So it's tough. It's tough.
Thanks
Guys,
everybody for the happy birthday wishes.
yes, absolutely, man.
Appreciate it.
Guys, over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, help us get to 200 likes. That is usually our goal, 200 to 50. We really appreciate it, and you'd be surprised that's simple gesture on your part does help the channel a ton. So to get the algos doing what they do, so we appreciate that very very much. All right, we'll wait for some more moderators here, and let's take a quick recap of our list. We have Baba on deck again, not doing a whole lot right now. Neil started to break out, but then slamming back down. Their pre-market activity, guys, today is looking very choppy. Careful with these at the open. Uh, I will be looking for a sell down on these because you're not seeing strength after the initial gap up. So might not happen right away, but I will look for some kind of sell down. I mean, again, just my personal opinion, what I like to see sometimes, especially out of Baba. You guys know that I tell you all the time, it loves to sell down. So be on the lookout for that. TSM continues to break higher here, guys. So this will be a good one for today. A very strong catalyst. Walmart, great earnings, but it's just sliding a little bit here. Still up 5.8. So this is still a very strong move for them, breaking out of an area where they've struggled the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how that continues there. Meta is doing the overall SPY stuff here. I'm assuming Apple and Nvidia are kind of doing the same thing, but Meta selling down a little bit more than these other ones, right? So take a look at that. All right, Eamon's coming in with nothing interesting for me today, and just notice that Eamon trades a little bit different. He likes to look at certain things, and then you can see today is not his type of day. And many people don't like days like this, right? When things just kind of start running. Although there a lot of stuff is not too extended, like we saw. What was it like last week, where
Yeah, when
everything was just
CPI
uh,
came out,
yeah, it was just insane how many stuff was extended there.
I just kept going.
Speaking of Eamon, you're going to be in
Going to
uh
Dubai,
Dubai
26th
meetup.
meetup, right?
Mm. So a chance to meet Eamon, so you can confirm he is a real person and not a robot. When you shake his hand, make sure his temperature is normal, not freezing cold or something. Let me know because
Yeah, agreed.
the guy, the guy, the guy is an animal. He really is. It's amazing what he does. So, with Andrew, guys, link is in the chat room, and link is also in our announcement tab. So if you're in the area, if you're flying down, RSVP to that. Megan, all right, let's bring our moderators list. We got everything here, and then we'll call it. So let's bring our moderators list. We got quite a few already, and let's see what our friends are watching here. So let me just adjust this here. and we will bring this over. Okay, let me expand this. All right, here we go. So, guys, stores looking at HD, Walmart, the Pivot Alert Bot, and the Spy. Nothing that Eamon likes right now. Megan is looking at Target. Susan looking at Tesla, Meta, Netflix. Secondary list: Apple, AMD, and Nvidia. Megan looking at Target. Interesting. I want to look at that. That's the only one on her list today. And she also looks for very specific setups on the daily as well. Um, Target had earnings. They're moving early, right? Looks like.
They're probably moving with Walmart would be my guess.
Oh yeah. That sympathy move with Walmart.
They report tomorrow morning.
That makes
So
sense.
you
Sympathy
get a
move.
sympathy play to there.
Yeah.
I can't talk. Sympathy play. Promise I haven't already started drinking.
Yeah, but if you did, it's perfectly okay on your birthday, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we are all set here. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market show this morning. Tonight we have today's
Peter.
Tuesday, so we have Peter, and hopefully he's able to
Talking about journaling.
to chat. And his journal is incredible, by the way. I mean, if you want to see something out of this world, check out his journaling webinar tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time in our webinar room, guys. So remember, guys, especially for our new members, we have 3 chat rooms, right? We have this one. Here's our main chat room. We have our classroom, where we hold our onboarding class, and then we have our webinar room, where we hold our webinars, psychology courses are all done there. So always check. Sometimes people go to the wrong chat room, and they're wondering why is it closed. Make sure you're in the right chat room. So I appreciate that. All right, guys, trade safe. Have an amazing trading day today. I won't be trading, but I wish you guys the best. Brian only trading Walmart so far. He'll build his list in a second and join you guys live. I'm not sure if Andrew's on, but I see Andrew in chat room, so he probably will be trading with you as well. What did I forget? Anything else, Norm? I forgot, or
You see him on YouTube, you mean?
yes. What did I say?
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. Yeah, I see him on YouTube. But guys, this discount, I'm excited about this discount. 60% for Black Friday. So if you're interested,
It's our biggest sale of the year.
yeah, I'm telling you, when I went online last night and I logged in for the onboarding class and I saw this, I was raving about it to the guys in the onboarding class. This is a big one. So take advantage of it. Black Friday discount, 60% of the elite annual membership. Guys, stay safe. Last chance to hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you all, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Engineering the Markets, and then 8:30 with Norm and I. Norm, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
All the best, brother.
Thank you to everybody that mentioned it in the room. Take care, guys. Thanks for hopping in today too, Carlos.
Anytime, my man. Anytime.
Yeah, take care.